The scholars say that long ago, the gods brought this world to ruin. Now we mortals reclaim what's left. The nation of Aramis is a frontier of beauty and danger, born of a fractured landscape, forged by an adventurous people, and searching for its destiny. While settlers roam the untamed lands and tyrants vie for influence, heroes rise. All the while, old secrets linger in this land and in its people, the secrets of heart and steel.
Let's go!
Let's go! I always cheer here.
If we were allowed to
should we cheer?
cheer?
Yay!
Yeah.
Yes, we're allowed to cheer.
Ceres is taking dictatorial command of when we are allowed and not allowed to speak, so now we're afraid to make our voices heard.
But before all of that, hey folks, yes, this is in fact an episode of A Friendly Orbit, the podcast that draws us together no matter how far we fly.
You probably knew it when you clicked on it.
I'm Ceres.
And I'm Theia.
And I'm Copernicus.
And I'm Neriad.
And we play D&D together.
Yeah! After the incredible successful campaign of Edge of Extinction, we have started the new one.
Yes, we've started a new campaign called Heart and Steel, and what you just heard earlier is the intro narration I do before we start every single session of the campaign. Yeah, we've been playing for the last 4 months. We play weekly, DM'd by yours truly, and today we're going to be recapping a little bit about the world that the campaign is set in, and then in the next part of this two-parter, we're going to recap the first chapter of our campaign, Genesis.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
We enter on the world of Theia, a vast and unmapped continent crisscrossed with the scars of an ancient war between the prime deities, the betrayer gods, and the magitech might of the citadels of mortals. Hundreds of years after the end of the war and the disappearance of the gods, Theia appears mostly empty. But to those who look closely, they will find societies rebuilding themselves from the ashes, bound by new outlooks on life and powered by the awesome technology of their ancestors. Our story, as any story, starts with our protagonists. And so, we spend a little bit of time introducing them at the start of the campaign. We played a series of memory one-shots, one for each character, that was each supposed to show an important moment or series of moments from their life, while not being entirely canonical, so that we sort of had the, I guess, reasonable doubt of being able to say, well, that's how this person remembered it, but that's not necessarily exactly how it happened. Because, you know, the first time you're playing a character, you're still getting into it, you're still getting used to it, right? And we put them at pretty important moments in their lives. We didn't want them to, we didn't want to have the pressure to be too high.
Yeah.
Although we didn't start in the campaign with this memory one-shot, I think it is the one that we should start with. I think we should start a little, Neriad, with your character. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Oh, okay. So, I've been playing Kirst, or her full name is Kirst Hiddenfow 6400. She is an orc, or like an ant lady. We've been workshopping the orcs, and it's been great. So yeah, picture an ant lady. That's her. She's creepy. She's cute. I love her. She is a fighter, because I was reading the 5.5e rules and I thought fighters could be interesting now. So we're doing a, what's it called? A battle master? Is that it? I always
Yes.
get the names mixed up.
Battle.
Yes. It was funny when you first told me you wanted to play a champion. And that wasn't
Oh,
because you wanted to play a champion. It was just because
I
you were
I
mixed up in the
I
names.
I keep mixing them up, and
And
it's
champion is like the simplest fighter of them
yeah.
all, and battle master is the most complicated. And you, as like a player, who played a full caster druid in the last campaign, a player who is used to complexity and is pretty experienced with the game. I was like, are you sure you want to play a champion? They seem pretty simple, right? It seems like you might get tired of it, or you might get bored of it. But that was just a miscommunication.
Yeah. I
Is
don't
the
know.
Battle
Like
Master the
somehow
most
like the
complicated
fighter
one? I think the
subclasses,
Eldritch
they're
Knight.
just not as descriptive. I feel
Well, I
as
think
a lot of the other
I think there's
class
an argument for it.
subclasses.
Yeah, I mean, so Theia was saying the Eldritch Knight is also pretty complicated. I would say yeah, and the Eldritch Knight, you're right. The Eldritch Knight is probably more complicated than the Battle Master, but they're a caster, so like
They're cheating.
yeah, exactly. Did you have a rhyme for Kirst?
Yes, I did actually have a rhyme. My rhyme was like, oh wait, how did it go? Kirst is an ant girl looking for her place in the world. You see what I did? I rhymed girl and world. I was very
Oh,
proud
yeah.
of that.
You
Like
did.
orange and orange.
You sure did.
That's the
All
only
right.
rhyme I can think of between girl and world.
So Kirst's memory took place in the High North in the nation of Uruthane during a massive festival called the Great Weaving, where all the different Uruthi clans, as well as outsiders, and even spirits and animals, are invited to come together at the cradle of creation and share fellowship and perspective with one another. Uruthane is a nation predominantly populated by orcs, whose close bond to all creation, given to them by the prime deities, their creators, gives them some of the features and adaptations of animals in this setting, as well as the ability to speak with animals. As a part of Clan Mauerhelder, Kirst has some features of an ant, doesn't she? What does she have going on?
Oh, she's got like the little antennas. She's got eyes, like bug eyes.
Compound eyes.
She's got like extra arms. She's amazing. I love her so much.
Yeah, she has 4 sets of arms.
She is, yeah.
So,
Four arms, 2 sets.
Yes, exactly. Sorry. Yes, exactly. 4 arms, 2 sets. So what was Kirst up to during this memory? Do you guys remember? What was this whole memory one shot about?
Yeah, so at the festival, sort of like the big thing about the festival is that like all the tribes, like people from the different tribes come together and sort of like with the different features, and they all come together to like this big sacred mountain to hear of their vows. So this is a thing that's that all the people in the nation have. It's like, yeah, your vow, you're like, it's, I think we said it started as like your sort of divinely given vow or purpose or something, but then even after the gods have presumably died, the vows, they continue, and you get a hint about your vow at the festival, and then you figure out what it is, and then you can live it.
Yeah, exactly. So the Uruthi culture is built around these vows, which all orcs really generally have. It's an orc thing. Uruthane is predominantly orc, but it bleeds over into the non-orc parts of the society as well. Yeah, and there's this idea that the prime deities sort of gave little fragments of wisdom, one to each person, in the form of these strictures and vows. And so it's really important to figure out what your one was, And I think every part about the orcs sort of exemplifies this bond that they have with their creators and therefore creation, right? And so in order to like fully live your role in creation, you got to figure out what your vow is, and stick to it. And what the Great Weaving has is that it's at the cradle of creation, which is a big caldera that has an oracle in it, the Oracle of Stars. And there's actually lots of Uruthi oracles, but she was the one that you were visiting during this time to try and get a clue on your vow from her. But you have to impress her. She doesn't just give these clues to anybody, and that's true generally for Uruthi oracles. You have to prove yourself to them. And her method is that you have to climb to the very top of the caldera and get a fragment of starlight for her. So who did you go up there with?
Ooh, that is who did I go up there with?
So it was you and 2 childhood friends. It was another cursed. You cursed me by
Yes,
having 2 of your backstory characters have the same first name. So we have Cursed 6400, your
that's
beloved
me.
character, and Cursed 2912, a different.
That's what they say
ant
at every.
woman.
That's what they say about every fiction writing class. Name your characters the same.
Yeah, give your characters the same name. And then we were joined by Teguskin, who is a human, I believe, who is a human friend, who is also looking for an answer to his vow.
Yeah.
Um,
But he has only 2 arms, so he's not gonna make it through the winter probably.
yeah. And also, actually, you guys had Prowler there too. So one of the things I think is really cool about Uruthi culture, right, is that they have a very different relationship to animals than most cultures because they can actually speak to them. So they don't treat animals like cattle and livestock, and they don't live in like this sort of heavily agrarian or heavily industrial societies that you find, often. Instead, they live in this sort of it's like kind of like a hunter gatherer ish, or like a society where they work with animals as partners, as friends and buddies, rather than.
Well, you just said hunter gatherer, so it seems like the difference is that it makes you sad if you put the animals in like a box and you hear them every day. But if the animal is far away and you hit them with an arrow, then they can't beg for mercy.
Well, no, but that is literally the idea, right? Is that an animal that you track down has honor and gets to live a life, right? And then gives its life for your nourishment, and you can thank it for it and your reciprocal role in the cycle of creation. Whereas farming just makes the whole thing nasty. You know what I mean? Farming is just like no dignity or respect on either side. There's not really any way to make it seem like a give and take relationship, right? It's just all take.
Yeah.
So they have these partnerships with animals, right? I mean, not all Uruthi. I think the Uruthi diet is probably lower on meat than most of the other diets of other places that we're going to visit in the course of this episode, right? But I really like the way that they work with animals as buddies and as friends. And so actually another person that accompanied you on this little journey was Prowler, who was a fox with little wings on his back, who got along well with Tegu and hung out with him. So
Played by yours truly.
yeah. So you played Kier's 2912, right,
yeah.
Theia? And you played Prowler.
Yeah, I mean, I played Prowler in combat.
Yeah.
You played Prowler outside of combat.
That makes sense.
Sound effects.
I actually used his ability to like dig himself into the snow and disappear, and then come out of the snow and make a surprise.
Yeah. So you guys went through trials and tribulations, a montage test, climbing ability to get to the very tippy top of this caldera because it is very tall. No trees grow on the top. That's how tall it is. And what did you guys find up there?
We found
Grandma
like-
and Grandpa Bear.
yeah, grandma, grandpa's spiritual ancestors, spirits, who were shaped like bears, and we fought them and we won, and that got us our magical orbs to give to the
I really
oracle.
love that moment as a DM to have a monster that I'm controlling that isn't like I want you to die, but more like a monster that's like
Show me what you got, kid.
yeah, and whoa, that was a really good swing. You really got me.
That was so cute. You put so much personality in them, sort of both in like just how they talked and like how the fight played out. I love that.
Yeah, it was great. And then you guys got a crystal from up there that was infused with the starlight. That's how you get a fragment of starlight, and you brought it back. And I think you each got pretty good hints for your vows. But Kirst, what happened with you?
Oh, I mean, like
Wait. Just to be clear,
Mhm.
to me and Copernicus, this is still a secret.
Yeah, well, actually, you were told at one point what the hint was.
I would have told that what the hint was, but I mean, maybe Chris lied about it.
Oh, maybe Kirst lied about
Maybe
it.
Chris lied about it.
Sure.
Such
that
a
is
personal thing. If something went wrong, such a personal thing.
what was the hint that you were given?
I don't have my character sheet on me, I think. So
You don't know it by heart.
So I
You're
can't
killing
read it out.
Ceres right now.
I am so
How
sorry.
do you not carry this into your heart
No,
every day?
it's okay.
Okay,
Ears are
wait,
streaming
I do
down,
actually have it.
Ceres'
Give me
eyes. I'm
1
looking at
second. Give me one
Ceres
sec.
is crying. You made Ceres cry.
I'm not crying. I'm good. Don't worry about it.
Ceres, you don't have to be strong for us.
Imagine going to a podcast about like a D&D campaign that you're playing and not having your character sheet in front of you. Like that's embarrassing,
I'm
right?
crying,
That is
because of the
honestly,
poor
you're gonna
organization.
post this on the internet. Like everyone's gonna know that I didn't bring my character sheet to the podcast.
Yeah, this is how I remember it, which was yours is an important vow, the last vow that is known when all else is defined. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. The hint.
I have the literal wording right here. Yours is the most important vow. Like not just important, the most important. The final revelation when all else has been defined.
Yeah. There you go.
And as far as I understand, like vows in Ruthie society are not like hints are not usually this cryptic.
No. Yeah, this hint was a load of horse shit. If you really see it from like a critical angle, it's like thanks for nothing. Most Uruthi vows are something like truth vow, right? And truth vow is that you strive to be an honest person, one who someone can put their trust into, right?
Some kind of first idea.
What?
Sorry, Brandon Sanderson fan will get this joke.
But is there truth as the first idea?
No, but I was just thinking that, like, you know, truth is like actually the second idea of the Truth Watchers.
Okay.
Like the idea that there is like different vows for different.
Yeah.
Like,
or like, you know, protection vow, right? And that's like to protect and serve others, or like, you know, stuff like that, right? And so the vows normally have a shorthand sort of name for them. That's your last name, usually, that you go by. And then like a more expansive thing that they are, but they generally follow a principle, right? It's to strive to live up to a certain principle. So yeah, they're normally not this cryptic, right? They're normally like, I think your vow lies with the bonds between you and your friends. And you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm a bonds vow. Right? And I'm supposed to forge bonds between
I
people.
guess pronounced bondsmith.
Yeah. Or like, you know, oh, I think your vow lies in, you know, protecting those who need it most. It's like, oh, okay, I'm a protection vow, right? Or whatever, right? And so, this vow's clue was
Windrunner, in case you're wondering.
So this vow was like not. It's also funny, by the way, because I developed all of this before I read.
I know,
The
it's
Way
so
of
funny.
Kings.
It's just like how you developed everything, then Arcane came out. And
Yeah,
like,
and then I developed this whole vow system.
kicked
And
you in
then
the nuts and you fell on the ground. And then Brandon Sanderson started to curb stomp you.
Yeah.
Then season 2 of Arcane came and finished you off.
But what can I say? I'm part of the zeitgeist. But yeah. So, anyways, so that's how that memory ended. And we leave. Kirst eventually decides to leave, you know, Uruthane and go out and find some answers and try to, I guess, define everything. Right? It seems like a vow that requires a lot of perspective. So eventually she leaves. That was your memory one shot. I'm realizing I had questions sort of for the whole section of memory one shots, but maybe I should ask a few of them now.
Oh yes.
Do you guys have any favorite moments or memories from this one?
I mean, I had a lot of fun playing the NPC during Copernicus's memory one shot.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
I think
but we're
that
not
it doesn't
there
make
yet.
a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
the thing, right?
Yeah. No, I mean about this one. I mean about this memory.
This one specifically.
Yeah, I played Tegu over here, and I remember it was fun when we started the challenges all together to get our vows. And for the first time, I think it's still the only time in the campaign, maybe not the only time, that we have a familiar.
Yeah, having a familiar was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's like a sort of secretly an Uruthi superpower. It's just like, it's very easy to just be friends with an animal. And it's a different than a familiar relationship, right? Because a familiar in D&D can't die.
And it's also your slave.
Well, I mean, often people do like an owner-pet relationship, right? But it is usually not a relationship of equals, right? So this is slightly more interesting in a way, because it could be like, why don't you go scout down this dangerous tunnel? And
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Your mouse familiar will be like, how about fuck no?
Yes.
There might be a cat down there. I'm not doing that. It's dirty.
There might be a dragon down there, and I wish to know.
You go find out. But yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the.
You know the trick of like beating Tomb of Horror by like upcasting, like
summoning animals,
summon animal, and sending like 1,000,000 cows into the dungeon and just like triggering all the traps.
Yeah, wiping all the traps in the dungeon by a herd of cows. All right. Well, let's continue on with our second character. Theia, why don't you tell us a little bit about your person?
All right. So I was playing May, excellent at tinkering, very prone to bickering, kind of lonely. It's her thing.
Great rhyme. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So she is a human artificer. If you like, she's very much like inspired by like kind of like a conglomerate of arcane characters. Like imagine Vi, but like with the mechanical prosthetics of Savika and the skill set of Jinx. That's kind of fun.
Oh wow.
That's kind of me. There's the joke. There it is. There's a joke. Yeah, exactly. She has a sister, which is very much alive.
Wow, that is
very
so
much
original.
all about in her life.
Yes. So this was
a very late addition to the character. Like for a long time, there was a sister in the backstory that was kind of like relevant to the backstory, and that was it.
Yeah.
Kind of like, but then the death thing kind of grew into having a DMPC that we can talk about later.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, you guys only have 3 people, right? We're a pretty small party. I prefer it. I like it. It's intimate. But it is true that for like most TTRPGs, combat balance and stuff like that, they kind of expect you to have about 4 players. And so I thought, oh, well, I could insert a DMPC to sort of account for that, to sort of help with that, right?
And you thought she'd be the party face?
I did not think that. It's just that the rest of the party all rolled up low charisma, and I thought, all right, I guess in an emergency scenario, you can lean on this character. So yeah, so I came up with Soala, and eventually she morphed, and I thought, you know, it would be good if she was just already related to one of the characters. And then since you already had a sister in your backstory, I was like, what would you think if Soala was just your sister? And in the end, we worked it out.
Yeah. That was not like a random choice of sister. Like sort of Kirst has like at least 6,399 sisters. I'm just saying, like if you had chosen one at random, would probably have been one of Kirst's sisters.
I do have to say, Soala was already in stone before we knew how many sisters Kirst was going to have.
And she was very much not an ant.
And she was not an ant in my mind. Yes, that's true. So
one thing is that May is like a 10 out of 10 in artificing, but a 2 out of 4 in limbs.
What? In limbs?
Okay. Sure.
No, yeah. So the memory of May is tied to an accident that she had with Soala, which we're about to recap, where she lost like half of her leg and her entire right arm.
Yeah.
And so she is, as I said before, she has like these metal prosthetics that she built herself for her right arm and her leg, which I think are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And in general,
I think they fit well into the spirit of the world. We haven't touched on it much because we were up in Uruthane a second ago for that memory, but technology plays a really big, important role in this setting, right? And the Uruthi are very unique for not living in an industrial society.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that we started with Kirst. I thought we would start with me, which is like the most like regular person for the setting, and then make our way up to the
I think you'll see pretty quickly why I did it the way I did it. But yeah, so that technological aspect is important. It's a great campaign to play an artificer in because it's all about artifice on some level.
And so May has also a level of fighter because this campaign is also very big on weapons. And I wanted to have access to the full roster of weapons. Yeah,
Borderlands was a big inspiration for this campaign, and so I really like how in Borderlands you can switch between weapons very easily, and it kind of puts the marshals on the same level as the casters in the sense of versatility. Like, oh, is this a fireball fight or is this a blink fight, right? And it's like, Well, I mean, usually it's a fireball fight. That's not a great example, but sometimes it's a blink fight, I guess. But the idea is,
if there's a will, there's a way.
I wanted to offer a similar choice to the marshals, right? Like, oh, is this a shotgun fight or is this a sniper rifle fight, right? To offer that flexibility, and so I was really inspired by the weapon swapping of Borderlands. But yeah, so let's talk about May's Memory. May's Memory takes place further south than Urethane, in the dry desert lands of the nation of Aramis. Aramis is predominantly a nation of humans who do not revere the gods and instead spend their time uncovering the great technologies of the past and, where possible, even improving on them. May's Memory takes place in a small but prosperous Aramite city called Climbing Greens, built on top of an ancient ruin called the Viridian Auger, which is corkscrew-shaped like an auger and screwed into the ground. The town is an idyllic breadbasket of agriculture that feeds the capital. So how does that work in the desert?
Well, that works in the desert, like everything else here, with technology.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like imagine greenhouses. If greenhouses were growing like lab-grown meat, that's kind of the vibe here.
Yeah, it's a little less greenhouses. It's like lab-grown meat. Meat pods, we call them. Meat pods,
yeah.
They just these little tanks that generate meat tissue on the inside, and blood and bone and all those other things.
Yeah, I can't wait for the plot twist that every meat pot has a baby inside that gets constantly harvested for raw materials.
No, that's not. There is no twist.
That's like what you would say if there was a twist.
That would violate our lines and veils.
You're right. The Lines and Whales document is such like a powerful like tool for like narrative tool where it's like your character can't kill himself because you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. So despite this idyllic city on the outside, there is something a little bit sinister underneath that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happens in May's Memory and what's underneath the Viridian Auger?
Yeah. So May and her sister like to play a game called Look What I Got. Look what I found.
Yeah, look what I got. You're right.
Look
You're
what
right.
I got. Yeah. Look what I got.
I forgot the name of that game.
It's kind of like a treasure finding game.
Yeah.
Where you have a timer and then you run around, you find the coolest possible thing, and then you come back and then you argue about why your thing is cooler than the other thing.
Or you give it to an adult figure and have them
you get a judge.
Arbitrate.
Exactly.
Which is the best.
Exactly. So we played that game.
So that's an important hint, actually. This is May's Memory takes place over the course of a few years as she's a child. We sort of cycle through the seasons and we see her get older from the age of 9 to 11 about.
Yeah, also get Soala as a sister because Soala is adopted.
Yeah.
Because someone believes that race is an extremely important aspect of a person's.
No, I just envisioned Soala as a black girl, and then you were like, I don't know how to make this work because I envision May as a half Asian, half white girl, and then you were like, I was like, we can make it work. We don't even need to explain it. It'll be fine. And then you were like, no, she should just be adopted. And I was like, all right, then I guess she's adopted.
Well, I know someone was going to ask.
And you'd just be like, I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we start with May when she's like 9, get Soala, they play together, they become sisters, and then...
Right, well, and May and Soala come together in a moment of tragedy, right, importantly.
Yes.
There's an accident.
Yeah, Soala doesn't just get adopted.
Yeah, there's an accident in the Viridian Auger, and it takes the lives of a few people, namely May's father and Soala's parents.
Yes.
And since these two families used to be close, and now they're sort of... There's parts
Parents
missing of each.
1 out of 4.
Yeah.
Even less than May's limbs.
Yeah, so they so Soala got adopted when she was probably way too young to really understand what was going on. I think May too, but they play games together and cheer each other up. And that was
I think
one of
May
the
was
moments.
old enough to understand.
Yeah.
She was like 9.
I guess old enough to understand, old enough to process is something different. Right?
That's different.
Yeah. So yeah, we see Soala get adopted into the family. We see them develop this rapport, develop this game. We did one at a fair where everyone got to play little kids.
Yeah, everyone got to play little kids. And...
Do you guys remember who you played anymore? I remember Copernicus as one. You were the Egan, the little dwarf.
Oh yes.
I don't remember.
That was super cute.
Yes.
I think.
But somehow wait. I for sure played an adult. In
You also played Alder.
Yeah,
I
you
played
also
both.
played
Yeah,
Alder.
that's true.
Alder,
Yeah.
who was like this sort of dwarf,
Alder,
semi-father, Erzat's father figure.
Surrogate.
Yeah, surrogate father figure to May. Erzatz is also, people just use it in English, just so you know.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, when I read Lemony Snicket, each book title is alliterative, and like the 10th book is called the Erzatz Elevator, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is cheating. I'm almost like, no, actually, people do that in English. Anyways, yeah, you got to play two dwarfs. You got to play Alder,
Yes.
the sort of pseudo-parental figure who adjudicates whether or not a snail shell is better or a hammer from his own workshop is better. And then you got to play Egan, who I just imagine must be the cutest little toddler dwarf,
Aw,
who had just gotten
very
his
cute.
little dwarf nose tattoo, had a little band-aid over his nose.
Mhm.
Because
Hey, Ceres, why did you give Copernicus 2 dwarves?
I don't know. Well,
it's
actually,
a random decision.
Alder we
you know?
knew was a dwarf. And then I had this idea. I was like, I bet dwarves are really cute when they're toddlers. Because they're like even stockier. They're like even chubbier and even widower. And I thought, oh, I've got a beautiful Egan, the cute little dwarf boy.
But you
It's gonna
think
be
they're
perfect.
born hairy, like on the face, like having
I
facial
don't
hair?
think so. Not in my head, but maybe if, for other people they would do dwarves like that.
A dwarf born is just like a furball, and then slowly they lose it, and then the human shape comes out.
It's like a seal. It's like a baby seal. They're covered in white fluff, and then it slowly peels off.
It's like in some Middle Ages, some paintings from the Middle Ages.
Mhm.
Jesus is born
Where Jesus
with
has a beard as a
facial
baby.
hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
But yeah, essentially,
yeah.
we play the game. Everybody plays a character.
Mm-hmm.
Soala goes missing because she goes where she's not supposed to go, which is inside the what's it called again?
Viridian Auger, deep.
Inside the auger, basically inside.
It's got like a
and
forbidden layer.
Yeah, like you can't go further than X because in this world it's very important. It's a very important element of the world building we haven't addressed yet. There's such a thing as corruption.
Yeah.
And corruption is a phenomenon that occurs in areas that are not exposed to light for a long time. Eventually, corruption sets in, and corruption has a negative effect, as the name suggests.
Yeah,
On material, on life, it warps things and makes things dangerous, deadly, and chaotic.
Yeah.
And so you're not allowed to go inside the auger, especially as a child. And
so basically, yeah, there's like this. Every time the natural light of the sun like disappears, like an ocean of this dark fog of corruption.
It's not just a.
I know, but like washes over, right? Mm-hmm. And this material, it's kind of like a substance that can only thrive in the dark, and it kind of replicates in the dark. So it's almost like you can almost imagine it like
miasma,
or like a fungus or something like that, right? So it's like if you have a room that's perfectly lighted, and then you turn off the light, corruption doesn't spontaneously form. But if it finds any little way to get in there, right? Then it'll set in. And so places underground, places that are hidden, dark forests, or even the middle of the night are more dangerous in this setting than they might be in others because there's this fog of corruption about, and especially long buried places have a way of really stewing in corruption.
Yeah. Anyway, before we move on to like all the faults and crimes of Soala that she will have to pay for at some point.
I'm not sure what those crimes are, but yes, okay.
Well, what about to describe? I think it's like May kind of like teased Soala a lot, past the tragedy. Okay, you lost your parents. It was like, yes, but like, welcome to being a little sister. Get wrecked. And so I think, I don't know how like explicit it was in our memory, but like part of the reason that why Soala goes into like the dark, deep corruption and like really pushes the boundaries of where she's allowed to go to find something really cool is because May won't stop teasing her.
Yeah, it's to show them all that a little sister still got it. She can still do it. To prove herself.
Exactly. So 2 hours later, the town is panicking about Soala being missing.
Yeah, little girl is missing, and we think we might know where she went.
Yeah, and May knows thinks very much that she knows where she went, and she doesn't say anyone. Just tell anyone.
Independent as always.
Exactly, independent as always. Don't ask for help. Do your own thing. She runs into the
forbidden layer.
Into the forbidden layer.
And so from the perspective of all the adults in the room, we had a young child go missing, and now 2 young children are missing. In the mind of May, she's about to save her little sister.
Yeah, in the mind of everybody else.
In the mind of everyone else,
have
the
two
situation just got
endangered
twice as bad.
Well, 2.5 times as bad. May is more better.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
She's a player character.
Okay, uh-huh.
Soala has NPC written all over.
Soala's life matters also.
She doesn't have action. She doesn't have access to a full action economy. Is her life even more? Anyway, yes. May goes down, finds Soala hidden in a corner. Also, witnesses some odd writing on the walls. Has
runic carving on the walls that appears to bleed. Which is uncomfortable because walls aren't supposed to do that.
Yeah, well, yours walls don't. Mine bleed all the time.
Your walls bleed all the time?
Yes.
Wow, you should really inquire about a rent reduction.
And then, from there, basically it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Straight up horror movie.
Yep.
There's a meat pop down here, much like the meat pop that's used on the surface, but it's a meat pop that has been down here under the effect of corruption for a long time, and the meat in it, is
ain't right.
Fights back.
Yeah.
This steak fights back.
Too many mouths, too many eyes, too many legs,
too many teeth. Just
in
various
teeth coming out of it at random angles, and it oozes ichor. This white ichor that oozes from its eyes and its mouth.
There's a lot of white slime in this campaign.
Yeah.
So we're off to the races. May and Soala run desperately.
It was and also the environment was twisted. The environment would mock you. Like every time you spoke or did things in the environment, it would echo in this weird way where it's like the first echo sounded reasonable, and the second echo was like, wait, that's not exactly what I said. The third echo would be like a little monstrous. And I loved doing that. I had a great time doing that.
Yeah. So
you haul ass. You run.
We run desperately. May is like dragging Soala.
Yeah.
Who can't really keep up, but go. Drag your sister with you. May manages to find her way back from the maze with this creature running just behind them.
Yeah.
Notably, the creature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a horrible mutated creature.
Mm-hmm.
But notably, we just ran because it came towards us.
Yeah.
We never gave it a chance to attack us, but also it was not clear, especially towards the end, exactly what this creature was up to, because as we are approaching the door to get out and get saved, May basically takes Soala and just yeets her towards the exit and out the door, and then this creature manages to get a hold of May because of this, because May gets slowed down by throwing Soala. Impulse, May goes back, Soala goes forward, and the creature holds on to May, sinking its mutated, corrupted teeth hands, I guess, into her arm and then into her leg as she struggles to get herself free and speaks words.
Yeah.
Words that perhaps we're about to hear again.
Yeah, so then the beast grabbed you, and instead of just trying to kill you or something, it spoke to you, and it said, oh, I have to do the voice.
So they speak,
which didn't mean anything to her.
Yeah, it doesn't speak anything to her. I bet the Harkonnen from Dune, from the Nurse of the Station, will get it.
Oh yeah, call me at 8, no problem.
Here in public. Yes. So.
And
next thing,
the real nasty thing about it is that the ichor and corruption that's flowing off this creature is flowing into your body.
Yeah, seeps right into the bloodstream.
And it starts worming under the skin, and you can see it moving and stuff, all body horror style, and it's also having seemingly an effect on your psychology.
Yeah, but that actually, in your description, that came later rather than now.
Yeah, it came within this period, right?
Absolutely. No, I meant when limbs are being chopped.
Yeah, that happens in about 20 seconds, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, next thing is Soala shows up again with the adults.
Yeah.
His mom throws out a hand grenade, which apparently she carries in her purse.
Yeah.
Just in case the fair gets weird.
And it was an awesome hand grenade because it just like it basically. Do you remember Neriad exactly what it does? I remember it being like it turns you into a blob or something like that. It was like super acid or something like that. Yeah.
I do remember it as super acid.
Yeah.
I think we should go back to growing greens, go to my mom and like make a grenade launcher.
Be like, hey mom, you gotta hook me up.
You remember how effective that was against the carnage? You wouldn't believe what I'm fighting now.
You wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we managed to
imagine, so like little worms crawling under your skin.
Yeah.
May gets like taken immediately to like the infirmary /
No, this is actually all happening right in the hallway.
Oh, that happened in the hallway?
Yeah, it happens. So the creature gets destroyed. We're now standing at the exit of the ruins, right? We're standing next to the forbidden do not enter door that we just came out of.
Yeah. And May's mother is an alchemist.
Yes.
And as such, she is technically responsible for medical care. Yeah. And she has to assess May's situation.
Yeah. And Neriad, you played the mom, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And what was your conclusion of the situation?
Honestly, like, the mom did not want to it was like, probably we need to amputate, but the mom was not up for it. And I think like it was Alder who decided to make the cut.
Yeah, I was the one. I played Alder, and I was the person who made the decision to immediately cut them off.
Yeah.
And
actually,
that was very hard on him as well, because ever since then, you know, it's difficult to hang out with May and Swala as they used to, so he actually moved out.
Yeah, I mean,
he did. He moved away.
He moved away to the capital, and it always put a sort of strain on their relationship. Not that it made it that they couldn't see one another, but that when they did see one another, it's hard for Alder not to feel responsible and not to feel more protective, even more so than he was before, right? And not to always feel a little guilty. Maybe there was some other solution, right, that he didn't take.
Exactly.
And this was just trauma all around, right? May definitely has the saddest backstory, I think.
I mean, we haven't even hit the darkest points of it. Probably.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like, I've written like paragraphs of like the following years and like the whole psychology of things, and like I was reading it to Ceres, and Ceres like, man, this is
dark.
This is dark, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, imagine what the following years feel like.
Yeah. So.
But importantly about the psychology, while she's getting amputated, May for a moment.
Yeah.
There's like a moment of like almost like religious cosmic apotheosis,
like
in
an
her
epiphany.
Mind. Yeah, exactly. Where for a moment she like kind of sees the whole picture.
Yeah.
In a way, and like I don't know what that is, but she does.
Yeah.
But then it goes away, and much like a dream.
Yeah.
As soon as you wake up, you feel it, but you don't know it.
As soon as the corruption is gone, the nerves are severed, the vision dims, and you lose that understanding.
Yeah.
And over the next few years, May
slowly, like, first goes down and then slowly makes her way up.
But her real entry point into the world of tinkering is obviously building her own prostheses, which give her the freedom to move around again and give her a lot of opportunity to, experiment and learn about
and not
technology.
Feeling like a burden, and not feeling like everybody always has to help her around with stuff. And that
she's not a burden, and I hope she learns that.
Yes, and also notably, she also develops a new innate magical, like she gets innate magic from like this instant the corruption is not completely removed from her, and she gets the ability, some like dark, like necrotic spells on the one hand. Like
you could call her shadow touched almost
shadow touch, but it's not. It's a magic initiate. It's magic initiate cleric because we're playing 5.5. Yeah, but she also gets an unexpected power, maybe the ability to cast light directly from her hand. So her hand gains the ability to glow
and can protect her from corruption, which is great.
Exactly. So that's May.
So that was May, and then for our final memory, we move even further south. Copernicus, tell us a little bit about your character. Give us your rhyme. Tell us about your character.
Yes, I just realized if I were to say the rhyme now, then it basically spoils the story of Nine Quiz. So my character is called Nine Quiz, It's written as the number 9 and then dash Q1S. It is a war-forged paladin, and maybe now I can say the rhyme, and then we can continue. So the rhyme is
Yeah, absolutely.
metal skin, human core, a relic from some dead god's war. False king fell, now he's shell. Hunts the truth through darkness in hell. Is it good?
Damn, that's metal as
Oh,
hell. I
Oh
love
yeah.
that.
Thank you.
that is exciting.
Yeah, so Nine Quiz is that's how we pronounce the 9Q1S.
Yes, it is.
So
Yeah.
flying just a few days south of Climbing Greens, we reach the great city of Verthunum, capital of Aramis, center of innovation, and the location where our campaign starts. Verthunum is an industrial metropolis home to millions of residents engaged in the work of forging the salvage of the past into the technology of the future. You need only look to its spires to see it's a fortress of commerce and progress, yet you need only walk in its alleys to see it's a breeding ground of violence and inequity as well. Ninequist is a robot, a marvel of ancient technology, who woke up in the semi-buried ruins at the center of Verthunum, which one day long ago the Aramites first walked out of to establish their nation in the fragmented, scarred lands after the war. But Ninequist woke up there with no memories of the past, a full amnesiac, and in his introduction memory, we meet Ninequist back when he was a member of the Ironhearts, the military police that patrols the streets of the capital and keeps its residents in check.
The Iron Patriot.
Yes,
I can't believe that Nyquist is a cop.
He was a cop.
No longer.
Now, who's got the saddest backstory now, huh?
And actually,
still May by a long shot.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, May has the saddest one still.
In his memory, we see Ninequist, known by the nickname of the Iron Patriot, as you said, on the job with his cop buddy, Aiden Coe, sorting out some jobs for the city. And at this point in time, I'd say Ninequist is still a little naive. So what events unfold as the day progresses?
Yeah, he was very naive back then because technically he was only, I believe, 2 years old when he was in the Iron Hearts. He was discovered in the ruins.
Practically born yesterday.
Exactly. He was very young and naive, literally. He was on his job with the colleague Aiden, and they were going after a criminal organization. I guess we can call it like that. It's called Silver Thorns, if I remember.
The Silver Jays, yeah.
Okay, yeah, very close.
Yeah, we started. So Theia, you played the cop buddy, right? And we started with you guys going to investigate a month-old report of some Silver Jay smuggling activity in the neighborhood. You checked in with a lady who made the report, and you collected her concerns and heard what she was talking about. And then you left, and Aiden made a strange mark on the side of the building as you guys were leaving. But Ninequist didn't see that.
I didn't.
And then eventually you guys moved on down to the docks.
Yeah. And that is where.
What happened at the docks?
Well, at the docks, we Aiden checked in with the woman running or supervising the business of docking of ships and recording all the cargo that passes through the dock. And I think I don't remember her name, but we have met her again I think in the Centameron she's now.
No, that's a different lady.
Oh, they have the same name.
No. You're thinking of the wrong lady. Okay, so you met up with a merchant, right, who was running the ship, or who's running the station at the docks, and then a gang member, a member of the Chrome Spines, walked in, and she's the woman who you met later on again.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, this gangster. So yeah, you guys go to check just like some random paperwork, manifestos. Is everything going, like shipping manifests and stuff like that? Is everything going right at the docks? And you speak to the merchant there, and then
Aiden clearly has like a deal where like she's doing something illegal. Aiden is getting a cut as a good cop, and keeping an eye closed on this. Also, he and her have like something going on. Looks like beyond a professional arrangement.
Really, I did not read that.
Nyquist didn't read into that.
What are you implying?
I think I remember that.
Well,
that was part of it.
The story exists only in all of our imaginations, so at least a quarter of the time that is true.
It is like the memories are canonically not canon, but also, I mean,
Nyquist can decide whether my interpretation is correct or not.
But yeah, and so as this is happening, as you are talking, Adva, the gangster, shows up, and she's a member of the Chrome Spines. The Chrome Spines are these gangsters who have these neck implants that let them interface with mechs. And like the bigger or higher up you are in the Chrome Spines, the more likely you are to actually have the Chrome Spine and have a mech at your disposal.
Imagine having to wear a Chrome Spine to interface with a mech.
Yeah.
Fucking...
This might be more advanced than whatever May ends up developing.
Or May is more advanced because you don't need a Chrome Spine.
But Adva shows up with some minions and lackeys. She's this big, burly gangster with... it looks like she has some drow heritage. And she confronts and she's like, this is our turf. She starts beefing a little bit. And she tells Aiden to stay out of it. And Aiden and Nyquist come to the merchant's defense and protect her and send Adva off. And you'd think that was the end of it. But all of a sudden, a little bit later, a crate gets dropped that contains a mech and some poor sod who is way too far in debt to the Chrome Spines. And the mech has 2 big tanks of corruption on it. And they get injected into this dude. And he becomes like a demon ogre inside a mech. And a big fight ensues.
Yep.
That was our first fight, I think, of the campaign, because this is one of the first memories we did, and this was the first time we rolled initiative.
This is the first memory we had.
I think it was.
No.
It was the first session, actually.
Yeah, so this was the first memory we actually ever did, and this was the first fight we did.
Yeah.
And you guys fought a big mech who could pick people up and do people bowling with them. That was an awesome mechanic. Shout out to the Immortals. But yeah.
It was
what
a
happens
massive
at the end of the fight?
Because Nyquist tried his best to fend off those demons, while Aiden, I'm not even sure if he stayed until the end at the fight.
I left
I think
because I had to go, but I left because I had to go, but Aiden stayed and kept getting his ass kicked because he only had a shitty gun that this mech was like resistant to. So. Yeah. Nyquist was the start
mech
of
had
the
this
show.
mechanic where when it was half on health, it got resistance to damage, and then when it was really low on health, it got extra attacks, but not like even more resistance to damage. That would obviously be crazy.
So Nyquist was
you both stayed until
overpowered.
the end of the fight, and then what happened at the end?
At the end, Nyquist was overpowered. He got attacked brutally, and he fell. And when he fell, his armor, because Nyquist normally looks like a robot.
Yeah, Nyquist himself looks a little bit like a mech.
But he is not very human-like, because his head is like the shape of, I would say, the head of a train, a high-speed train.
His head is a ball, but it has a single eye.
Well, his head is also like kind of in his chest, right?
Exactly, yeah. And he has power cores all over his body. He doesn't just have
power
one.
cores we haven't talked about yet, but we should maybe talk about it in a moment.
But
no, that's totally fine.
Yeah, he's
got these power cores in him that make him go, 7 of them, some in his joints. So he gets cracked open by a big the mech kind of does like this Iron Man laser beam attack where he like cuts through everything with a bunch of laser beams. And it cuts Nyquist open, and we saw him go basically into like urgent medical care. And in the reflections of this room, what did he see?
Wait, but doesn't he also see something at the docks?
Oh yeah. He does. Why don't you describe what he sees?
Basically, he sees a ball from the combat. One of the boxes of the docks get gets broken and gets opened, and Nyquist sees that there was contraband being delivered here. That Aiden was
despite the fact that Aiden explicitly checked it out and said it was all good and there was no contraband.
Yeah, it was very suspicious.
Aiden lied. Aiden is.
That is
Aiden
when
is
Nyquist knew Aiden was a dirty cop.
Yeah,
and that was a major
when he was
reason.
presented with evidence.
Yeah,
He
and
shook
that
his
was a
world.
major reason that got him out of Ironhearts. He resigned later. But over here, when Nyquist fell, he didn't know.
Yeah.
He had no idea what happened. Because he didn't see from the reflection that he actually had a human brain inside of him.
Well, that is what he saw. That was the whole point of that.
That was during the but I mean, I think they're saying that didn't happen on the docks. It happened later.
Yeah, I mean, we basically went into this montage of Nyquist fading in and out of consciousness, and one of the moments was in a mirrored medical room, and he could see in the reflections of the mirror, to his horror, at the core of his body was a fleshy brain.
It's
and
like
not a robot.
Like a tank.
So we found out he's a cyborg. He really is kind of like a mech for a brain. He's not just robot, and that implies he has history, and he used to be someone. And he used to be someone, and
but he lost all his memories.
Bit of a journey, didn't it?
Yeah, but he lost all his memories, and this forever changed the way he viewed himself. Because on the outside, it's this super technological. He's this super technological looking robot, having 7 power cores when most people can only have 1 and attune to 1. But by the look of it, he has 7, and he is functioning on all of those power cores when you just look at him from the outside. But on the inside, he has a human brain, and since he is a robot from the past, nowadays there are no technologies to maintain his robot body. And ever since the accident, he got even more hurt, and maybe something went wrong with the parts. Ever since then, he started to slowly fall apart. That is a
little bit of commentary there on the eternal upkeeps required when you're made out of material like that.
And that is another reason why he decided to leave. Because from the outside, everything's built, everything looks fine. But on the inside, things are just breaking all the time. He had to maintain different parts of his body. He couldn't find the parts. So he had to go into scavenging to try to fix himself constantly.
And that is a big business in this city, right? Verthunum is a city built around basically an ancient floating sky city that's crashed into the earth here at this one point in place in time, which forms this extensive network of ruins underneath the industrial city that people go into to scavenge and brave the dangers of the darkness and return with powerful technologies. So yeah, those were our 3 memory one-shots. How did you guys feel about them? In the end, I felt like they were really successful at introducing your characters, at introducing our main cast, Nyquist, May, and Kirst, giving us sort of a feeling for who they were before we saw them for the first time.
I really liked it. It really helped to have some space by yourself to figure out your own character while not having to pay as much attention to what is going on with the others. And similarly to to learn a bit about Nyquist without I don't know. I like the separate introductions. I think it really helps.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. And I like that you didn't pick the moment when Nyquist woke up.
Yeah, well, I think that would have been maybe a slightly boring moment. It would have been a lot of, what? Who am I? Where am I?
Yeah.
Did you guys have any favorite locations? We sort of took a pretty wide-ranging perspective. We got to see 2 different cultures, 2 different nations.
Yeah, I find the culture
one in the capital, one just the cities outside.
I find the orc culture very interesting, but I really like the Green Tower
Yeah,
that
climbing
we
greens.
Climbing greens.
That was
climbing
really
green
great. We
that
did a
we
little bit of
composed
collaborative
together.
world building,
No,
which we do at the start of every session. We do a little bit of collaborative world building, where I give you a prompt and you guys come up with ideas for what that place might look like, and then I integrate it into the sessions. And climbing greens, one of the prompts was like, what would make you fall in love with this place? And each of you came up with really good answers.
Yeah, climbing greens has like Ghibli vibes to me. It's like this
Yeah, it
piece of
does.
ancient technology from the sky
Yeah.
that is like overgrown, and now there's like a rural community built around it. Of course, in the Ghibli movie, they wouldn't have meat pods
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
that run on babies. But, you know.
They don't run on babies.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Were there any parts of portraying your guys' characters for the first time that you were particularly nervous about? Like, was there any parts of playing your character, any elements of your character that don't come naturally to you, right? Like, where you need to act more and you can rely less on, like, life experience or something like that?
I think the moment when Nyquist figured out he had a human brain was quite difficult. I really had to try to capture his surprise and his panic, his fears, because it's a very identity shattering moment. Because you are not who you think you are, you're not who people think you are. You're literally the opposite. And you have no idea where you come from, you don't know your purpose. And that is another reason he chose to go away and to find his purpose through adventures.
Yeah.
For me, well, there is on the one side, I have very limited experience with having a sibling. Specifically, I don't have them.
Yeah.
Specifically, I have only experience observing it from the outside.
Yeah.
But here's a bit of Theia lore. I'm a single child.
Oh, hey, write it down in the wiki, folks.
right.
You got another tidpiece of information.
Yeah, write it down in the wiki feed, which I know I already have a page on. But no, so that whole aspect is something that, like, I was nervous about. Like, I didn't know how well I was going to be able to portray it.
Yeah.
And then I am playing kind of like I'm playing a bit of an edgy character.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't go as far to go. I'm playing like a classic edgelord character.
You're playing a bit of an edgy character that has a total edgelord backstory.
Yeah, and like, but also like this character desperately needs like people around them.
Yeah.
Like it's a character who's very much not I work alone. It's like I can't work alone because I go down to 0 hit points every single fight.
Yeah.
So like one of the challenges for me, maybe not as much during the one shot, because then the one shot May is still a child, and like there's the child factor that makes maybe like some abrasiveness come across as like cute. But like in general with May, like finding the balance between being like a bit of an abrasive edgelord, but also being like a character that you like and you want to get better. Yeah. You want to see grow and get better. That's the part that I find always like challenges me the most. And I don't know how well I'm doing it. I'm doing, but I think
we all try. We do our best, right?
Wow, that sounds very bad. That sounds like I'm doing very bad.
No, I'm saying
You're doing your best, buddy.
I'm saying it's not my position to judge you, right? Okay. I mean, I enjoy it. What about you, Neriad?
So for me, like in the memory, it's. I mean, I guess this is sort of ties into Chaos more generally, where she comes from such a different culture. Sort of like it's such a different way of being, and that is
like Aramis challenges you to think of the world in a secular way, in an industrial way, pining for a past that was better. That's like pretty easy to do. That is right?
Pretty easy. Like, I pine for the past all the time.
Yeah, that comes pretty readily to many people today. But like, imagine you're from a culture that's based on a gift-giving economy where you live on equal terms with the environment and the animals around you, and you move around in these nomadic, ways, and you have these vows and these relationships with the gods, and it's all rather different than the average person's lifestyle.
Imagine being a hunter-gatherer, highly religious, communal civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely just that, like, sort of principles of like reciprocity. What do they actually look like in like your day-to-day interactions? That definitely keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed fleshing out with you Uruthi culture and the time that we spent sitting down, talking about it, brainstorming, coming up with ideas. Uruthi culture was really, when it fell into place, I was like, this is it, right? I mean, I have factions in this setting that I know about that I haven't told you guys very much about, and I'm not going to expand on them here because it wouldn't be helpful. But it was really when the Uruthi culture fell into place that I was like, all right, I get it. This is the different points on the compass that everyone aligns to, you know? And it was really that last group that getting those locked in with you clarified for me. I was like, this is how different people think about the world in this place. This is the spectrum, right? And the Uruthi are one point on it.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, that was our introduction to the campaign. We have these characters. We have them in the great city of Vorthunum, and we're ready to go through them on some adventures. Are there any other points that
Great is such an interesting word. It's great the way the British Empire. It's great.
What do you mean? Vorthunum doesn't have problems. Vorthunum's great.
Yeah, and so was the British Empire. What do you think I was saying?
Is there anything else that we should talk about in relation to world building or character moments, you guys? Things you want to get off your chest about the memory, sort of this introductory sequence?
Expand on the power course a little bit, since it will become a very important thing later.
Sure. Let's talk about power course a little bit. So in this world, there's a lot of technology going around, but it all works sort of according to the same principle. Either it's an item that powers itself with like a raw, unstable power source that's called an echo. This is like your single-use item.
These are grenades.
Yeah, health potions, things like that, right? And then everything that is sort of sustainable and reusable is called a conduit. And conduits, they basically conduct the power of power cores, right? And so power cores are like these little glowing orbs. They're like hex gems if you've watched Arcane, right? That are found in the ruins. People can't make them anymore. They only scavenge them. But they have this interesting property where it seems like about one person at a time can bond to one of them. And somehow when they do, the core becomes charged with power. And then they can spend this charge on the magic items that they have. And so in Aramite culture, for example, where power cores are really important and front and center, not everybody gets to have them. They're sort of worn on the chest in a little iron casing, a little housing, kind of like the arc reactor that Tony Stark has, except for imagine it was strapped to your chest, with like a tri-strap sort of holster kind of, I guess, situation. And that's where the Ironhearts get their name from originally, because they were originally the first people to have to wear these power cores and to use them for things. And people lose little power cores, but people can't charge big power cores. And so there's these big power cores that are like the size of a basketball, the size of like a cow even. Like that's the extreme upper end, but like it gets, like power cores don't just come in one size. They actually come in a variety of sizes.
How many cows could you power with a cow-sized power?
So many cows. There's so many electric sheep you could power with.
Thumbofora wouldn't stand a chance if it had a cow-sized power core.
Would not stand a chance. Yeah, so and so these basketball-sized power cores, they're used for like big machinery. They're used to like power houses and cranes and mechs and tanks and Gatling guns, Gatling gun turrets that the Ironhearts put in the middle of their front entry hall, which was a little collaborative world-building detail we came up with. They just have this giant gun right at the entrance. So that's what big power cores are for, and those are also rare. But you just dig them up every once in a while and then charge them up and then use them. So yeah, that's power cores. That's Vorthunum.
I think it's interesting the way that power cores work, because like I think there's two ways that technology gets like implemented in sci-fi, and this is kind of also partially sci-fi, where like sometimes sci-fi and weapons in games are very instrumental, kind of like the Borderlands way, where like your gun is a tool that you use to enforce your will onto the world, basically. Like you have a gun, then people can't mess with you. And you will swap a gun for a better gun any day. But then there is the kind of like design philosophy of like, this is your gun, and you're gonna have this gun for your entire game, and your character grows, and the gun grows with you, and the gun is some sort of manifestation of your character growth. That's like, you know, like your Samus Aran power suit, or like that gun that you have instead of your right arm, that's your best friend for your entire thing. And the power core thing kind of like bridges the gap a little bit, because this is clearly, I mean, in general, this is clearly a world influenced by like, this is like philosophy A type world. But the fact that you have to kind of like attune to the power core creates this like almost like spiritual bond that people have to form with the technology that we haven't really talked about at all. Like we've always treated attuning to a power core like it's just like something that you do, exactly. But like, I don't know, I think that would be something interesting to explore, that having this personal connection to the technology, not to the individual gun, but to the power core that you use to turn on the gun or the boots. Or...
and I power cores were for me basically, not only did I think they were visually cool and interesting, I think we'll also go over this at some point if we ever go through some of my homebrew. This campaign is played in D&D. It is heavily homebrewed. We're starting at 3rd level. Some details just to get out of the way. But power cores were a way for me to regulate magic items, because basically I could throw an infinite number of magic items at you, and they could all just cost a different amount of charge depending on how strong they were. And then I could limit you. I could rate limit you based on your power core, right? I could say, well, you can only charge so many items of a certain power given a power core. And that was mostly the idea. There's a few nuances, and if we ever talk about the homebrew of power cores and guns in my setting, I think we'll get further into it. But power cores were definitely something that I was designing with a game in mind, with that Borderlandsian, like I want to be able to trade out guns in mind, but I don't want to be able to use every charged ability of every gun once, then throw it in my backpack and pull out a different gun, right? That clearly presented an imminent problem. But yeah, any final thoughts that you guys have on the setting and the characters of our campaign of Heart and Steel?
That was my final thought.
That makes sense. With that, then, do you guys have any plugs? Anything you want to shout out at the end?
Being nice to your friends. That is my plug.
That is awesome.
I'm gonna plug my friends. That's pretty cool.
My plug, and I wrote this down ahead of time, is playing games with your friends.
Damn.
It's nice. Do it. Go make friends. Go play games with them.
And there's no
like enemies. Enemies are pretty cool. Saying that I have an enemy is badass. How many people do you know that have an enemy? So, you know, among all this friendship, I'm gonna plug enemies.
Oh, hey, it's that guy. Do you know that guy? Yes, he's my arch nemesis. Holy shit. You have arch nemesis? So many.
And
how to become instantly to become the most interesting person in the room.
Maybe there's no inherent purpose of life. You have to find your own.
That's just a philosophical concept you want to plug?
But it's literally the life experience of Nyquist.
Alrighty, folks. That'll just about do it for our 36th, I believe? No, 38th. For our 38th episode. If you want more, you can find us on youtube.com/@afriendlyorbit, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you happen to have any Astro Echoes you want to share with us, you can email us at afriendlyorbit@gmail.com. All one word. Next week, you'll hear part 2 of this, where we get into the actual adventure with everything already established.
All right, Ceres and Copernicus and Neriad. I'll talk to you later. And to all of our fellow Voyagers, we'll see you out there amongst the stars.